Alright, well, so first up on our uh, starting class roster here, we got the Knight. He's equipped with a rusty shield and, a typical sword. Um, Overall, I'd say the Knight is probably the best for beginners, because he has a pretty good damage output, and he's also, he can take a good amount of damage for, early game. And also, I'm judging the early game classes because, later on in the game you can change your whole build. But the early game, it depends on what you like, on which class you should lose. And, this guy, he puts out a lot of damage. He has probably the best armor, I'd say, for the beginning. I mean, he's pretty standard overall. If you're definitely very new to the series, definitely go with this one, because let me tell you, that armor and that damage is going to do you a good amount of favors. Yeah. On to the next one. Alrighty, so now we have the mercenary. He's equipped with this dual swords, is what I call them, and a shield. These dual swords allow you to do like double attacks, similar to like Dark Souls 2, except they're both in one hand and you don't have as much freedom. Um, uh, this guy, I don't know how I really feel about him, honestly. He could be good, like his double attack, but he doesn't put out enough damage, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what to say about this guy. Like, I almost got bodied with him. My first, I mean, like, gosh, can't talk. 8 out of 10 of these starting roster characters was my first time playing with them. So, it was a new experience. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing this. Anyway, back to this guy. Uh, I don't think there's any starting class that really fat rolls right off the bat, but this guy, his dual swords can be deadly if you use them well enough. That's about all I got. He's just decent. He's like if you want the baby version of, or the toddler version of the first class. Alright, now we have the warrior, who I believe has the most starting vigor, so you could take a lot of hits with this man's. Um, he's pretty decent overall. He's equipped with a battle axe and a round shield, and his weapon's ability is like a war cry, I believe, is what it's called. And that war cry buffs your attacks, like this. Sorry, accidentally parried there. So your R2 goes from like a regular slash to a dash attack. And, this guy is good if you take a lot of hits. Or if you just want to put out some damage. Because if you use that buff, you do so much more damage if you just like light attack. Like, do you see that grab? That would kill like most starting classes, but it doesn't kill this one. His stamina isn't the greatest, but I would say his worst thing is his FP bar. I mean, look at that thing. That thing's like a millimeter, and then you're out of magic points. But yeah, like I said, that buff for the axe is really good. That's all I got for this guy. Alright, and now we have the Herald class. He has a pointy spear and a shield. And I believe he also comes with one of those talismans that allows you to cast a little short healing spell on you, which heals you for like a small amount over a short period of time. His weapon special attack is a lunge attack like you just saw. And yeah. There it is. Little healing. Anyway, I personally didn't like this class as much as I like playing some of the others. Like, I mean, his damage output is so low, it kind of got boring through the fight. But also, I've fought this guy like 10 times now, minimum, because there's 10 classes. But, I mean, like, basically, you might die of boredom by the time you beat this guy. Like, you're gonna die of boredom before he dies in the game. But, I mean, like, like, this boss can die pretty quickly if you know how to do stuff with the class. But, I mean, like, I feel like the Herald's, like, health bar is a lot smaller than some of the other ones. Especially compared to, like, Warrior. But, I mean, like, that's about it. That talisman, it can come in handy if you're out of Estus Flask, but if you run out of FP, then you're kinda done for. Alright, and now we're on to the Thief class, which is probably one of the hardest. I'd say 2 out of 8 are like like the most difficult to use, and this is one of them. Because not only is your shield basically a pot lid that you're holding up, that dagger does baby damage. It can go from a slash to a thrust attack, and your weapon ability is a lunge. I don't know what you use the lunge for, to be honest, but you know, that's, I don't know. I mean, like, the thief, the one thing that's probably good about him is his stamina. Like, the weapon that he uses doesn't take a lot of stamina. The downside is that his weapon does baby damage, like I said. And, I mean, it's just, like, if you want a challenging game, you use this class. Like, that's just factual. And also, during this boss, I figured out that you can stun Gundyr and do a lot more damage if you hit him. That's just something I found. Anyway, he's just harder to use in later game because he has the highest luck stat, but like low every other stat, so good luck. Now, here we have the Assassin class, which has a thrust sword, I want to say. I don't know the exact name of it. but it's a thrust weapon. He has a parry shield, and that's about all it does. It's not very good for blocking. The assassin has one spell equipped with him off the gate, which is the spook spell. And basically what the spook does is when you cast it, all fall damage that doesn't kill you, or that wouldn't kill you, is arbitrary. Like, it won't do anything to your person if you cast spooked. But if it's like a high cliff where you're supposed to die, you will die. As you can see, I tried to parry. The boss doesn't work. I don't even know if you can parry him, but it was worth a shot. For output, I'd say it's like, it's nothing spectacular for his damage. I'd say it's probably close to the Herald's output. But he makes up for it with his speed. I mean, look at this man's go. He's like basically Sonic. And you can get quite a few hits with his short-looking stamina bar. I'd say the only weakness to the assassin here is probably that health bar. That health bar looking kinda small. But yeah, that's the stun I was talking about earlier. Alright, now we're on to Sorcerer. Sorcerer, as you would guess, has a high intelligence and high faith. Has a staff and I believe a little dagger that you can use. The dagger is basically useless. You will be relying more on your spells. Damage output, I would say the spells, because you spawn with the ring that boosts sorceries, he's really good if you don't want to play the game. Like, you'll see what I mean when I'm fighting this guy. Like, I don't want to get up in his face like I do with like every other character. I just back up and cast spells. Basically, I'm not playing the game. I'm just like running, and I'm like, ah, I got you now. Like, this boss it didn't even take me that long to kill him because of how good the spell is using the boosting ring. So if you want a more challenging sorcery playthrough, don't use the ring. But if you use that ring, this first boss is a piece of cake. And if you ever run low on FP, just use the Ashen Estus Flash. Gives you, it like basically fills it back up. So yeah, if you don't want to play the game, just play a sorcerer. Or if you want to be annoying PvP like everyone else, just use sorcerer. Alright, now we are on to the Pyromancer. This man's can kill Udex Gundyr so fast. His pyromancy is pretty good. The fireball that he has is pretty decent. And I'm gonna guess, just like the sorcery, he has a ring, just like the sorcerer does, that boosts pyromancies instead of sorceries. Which explains why his fireball is so good. But the thing that makes him more fun in my opinion is that his he still has a battle axe, which allows you to you can still do war cry and do immense amounts of damage with it. Or you can pull out the fireballs like I'm doing and just start chucking them, because they take a little bit of FP but not a whole lot, so you can throw out a lot before you have to refill. Like, I think here I just refill and then like destroy him. Yeah, here we go. Just make sure it's clear when you start throwing the fireball, because if you get hit, it will cancel it, because it doesn't have a high poise. This is a guy that you want to use if you kind of want to play the game, but you also kind of don't. I don't know. I like playing him. He's kind of fun. Now we're on to Beefy Boy Cleric. This man comes equipped with the Cleric Stick, where he can cast Force and Heal. Force just creates probably one of the most useless barriers ever. Like, that thing reaches like basically the size of a pinky toe. But his mace is pretty good because you can if you two-hand it and press L2, you can activate this boost that gives it a little bit more damage. His main thing is probably his ability to block and surprisingly not fat roll, but I mean, look at this man's outfit. He actually stuns pretty fast on the first boss, Udex. I mean, like, I don't have much to say about this guy. Like, he just feels like the fatter version of the knight. Like, he puts out a good amount of damage, but this man has like healing items and stuff, but his vigor is probably not as much. And for those unaware, vigor is HP, or health points. And then FP is the stuff you use to cast spells and stuff like that. There you go, a little bit of Dark Souls. Yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite. And last but not least, the second part of the hardest two people to play from the starting class obviously goes to the deprived class. You just get club and shield. But also, when I beat this boss using the deprived class, it was probably my fastest time. It only took me like 1 minute and 37 seconds total. So this is all the footage I have for using the deprived. All his stats are balanced at 10, except for his attunement, which I believe is a little bit lower, because he's not going to be casting spells. But his vigor, endurance, stamina, attack, all of that is at a steady 10. And his two-handed club can buff just like the warrior can with his axe. So you still do a decent amount of damage. But the problem is, you also take a lot of damage if you get hit. But yeah, overall, he's one of the more fun classes to play. If you want a challenging game, either go with Thief or the Deprived class. But, I mean, who's gonna stop you? Definitely not this man's. Also, this is my 10th time fighting him, so, you know, whatevs. Alright, you made it to the end of the video. If you did, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna beg for likes or anything, because only like 3 people are gonna watch this, but, you know, if you did like it, make sure to leave a comment or something, I don't know. Do something nice. Tell someone something nice. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.